Hey guys, welcome back to part C of the 2015 AP Computer Science number 1. In part A, we were able to add up all the numbers in an array. In part B, we were able to take a two-dimensional array and return a one-dimensional array of all their sums. Now we're going to need this part for this part C right here. Part C says a two-dimensional array is diverse if no two of its rows have entries that sum to the same value. So in this case, we're going to return a true, but this case we're going to return a false. So how do we do that? Well, first let's just continue reading. It says, assume that array sum and row sums work as specified. You must use row sums in order to receive full credit. So let's first remind ourselves that row sums takes a two-dimensional array and it returns a one-dimensional array of the sum for each row. So they're going to pass this two-dimensional array. So we're going to start with that first. We're going to say int sums equals row sums. Remember, this method does it for us already. So now we have sums to be a 14, 35, 36, 14, a one-dimensional array that has all the sums of the rows. So I'm going to start with a double for loop, and I is less than sums.length, I++, and because we're going to have to go through all the rows. Now, some of you might say, well, why do we have a double for loop if we only have a single one-dimensional array? That's a great question. Usually, double for loops are for two-dimensional arrays. But in this case, we're going to be a little bit different. We're going to start with int j equals I+1. Because what we're doing is we're trying to see if the 16 is equal to the guy next to him, or the 16 is equal to the guy next to the next one, and the next one, and so on. So I'm starting wherever I is, but 1 over. And that is why we need our second for loop. So we know that the two for loops, we know that for loops hold place. So this for loop stays at int I equals 0 until the second for loop is completely done. So this will stay at 0, and this will constantly increase as long as I write down for it to increase. So j++, now this holds on to index 0, and then index 1 it checks, then it checks index 2 and 3. You don't want a single for loop, because what that would do is it would check 14 versus 35, 35 versus 36, 36 versus 14. It would skip this. You want the 14 to stand still while it checks everybody. Then you want to go to the next guy and check to make sure. So this is why we need this double for loop. But you're correct. So double for loops are usually for two-dimensional arrays. So we're going to say if sums I equals, not dot equals, because this is integers. If it equals j, then we're going to break right away and return false. Do not do a if else. Remind yourselves that if else breaks a return statement right away. So do not do a if else statement. And after you're done with all of this, after it goes through all of it, if it doesn't hit return false, then we're going to need a return true. So that would be at the very end. So you would finish off the sentence with, or the program with, return true. So I hope